Okay, I have a bunch of these little squares that I made as a sample that I'm going to rip out and show you what it's like to rip out. So it's the same yarn, it's just knit with a different size needle, different stitches and stuff, just to see what would happen. So this is also kind of an interesting lesson in this is what happens when you knit one way, and this is what happens when you knit another way, but it's the same colorway. It's the exact same colorway. I forget what I did. Like you can see that there's brown and orange and pink, and I think I started with the brown and used, I don't know, 60 stitches or something, and then with this one I started with the pink and did some other thing, you know. So depending on how many stitches, what size needle you use, what piece of the color work that you start with, it'll create a different look in your pattern. So let's rip this out. So I have to find, oh, here's the end. Let's see, here's a little needle, and you can see right there? Right there, that's where the ends got woven in. So let's unwoven the ends, and then we'll pull it out, and I'll show you how to do that. Ooh, this is taking forever. All right, this is a little wonky, but okay, so here's my little swatch, and I'm pulling it out. Found the end, pulled it out. And here's my little, I have a little counter that can reset to 0. I don't know if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is pull out a little bit of the yarn, put it through the yarn guides, and then clip it on to the end of this arm, pull it up, and then wind off a little bit. And I'm just going to hold on to this as this electric swift pulls on the yarn right off this little swatch. I don't know if you can see that. And it just comes right out. So I'm going to turn on the little knob here. Woo, it's too fast. And it's just pulling it out, and then the winder is just attaching it onto the swift here. Slowing down a little bit. Too slow. There we go. Whee! Okay. Well, zip. Okay. So now that is pretty much done, what we're gonna do, when you make a hank like this, you want to tie it in 4 different places to keep the little hank secure so it doesn't unwind and turn into a mess. So, and that was about 80 yards. So I'm gonna unclip here, and I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can get you closer. So I'm gonna go through, let's bend down a little more. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna take this end that was clipped on here and split somewhere in the middle, grab that piece of yarn and kind of loop it around and underneath. So now that's got a good hold there. Then take the other end, loop it around the other side and go through. And now I can tie this off in a little, you know, very unscientific knot, right? There you go. It's not going to come out. Got that off. Turn a little bit. And now we've got another set here. Take this yarn, and again, just anywhere in the middle. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be pretty. And just figure 8 through the 2 sides there, and then tie it down. And so you keep doing this. So these swifts have 4 sides, right? So you can do this 4 times. If you're, you know, doing a spinning competition, one of the regulations is you must have at least 4 ties in order for it to be a proper entry or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of these professional people, they're a little uptight, you know. They have rules, they have regulations. You should have at least 3 ties so it doesn't fall apart. There was a company that I used to get yarn from, a supplier. They had 1 tie, and it wasn't even like tied like this. It was just a loop around all the strands. And I was like, dude, that's such a mess. That's not gonna. So I had to go and re-tie each skein that I got from the company. It was such a drag. Like, seriously, what's wrong with you people? Okay, so here's 4 knots. And as you can see, the yarn comes out really curly, kinky, right? So when we take this off, holy cow, a boing, look at that. Look how springy that is. So now we're gonna have to soak this in the sink over there. Come with me to the sink. All right, I'm doing this one-handed. So here's my little tub. You take your very kinky, curly, springy yarn, and then you just get it wet. Make sure it's all nice and soaked in there. All right. Good enough. And then we let it sit. Sometimes I'll let it sit, you know, all night or whatever. If it depends on, I mean, this is a little skein, so it'll probably just, you know, I don't know, an hour or 2. And then when you're done, you just get a hanger and you hang it from the hanger. Don't put any weights on it because that will distort your yarn. Just hang it till it dries and then you're done. Okay, it's been all night. So now we take the yarn out of the water and squeeze, not wringing, squeeze. You squeeze as much water out as you could possibly get, and then you put it in a towel, like so, and then you roll it up like this, and then squeeze more water out of it. And once you get all, you know, you're probably going to need a couple of towels worth. And once you get it all out, you give it a good snap, and that kind of stretches out the kinks. And then hang it up on a hanger and just leave it till it dries. And then you're done. And then you have nicely unkinked yarn that's ready to use.